All right, puppy, come on. What you doing? All right, puppy. Watch looks like it's ready. August 10th, 2026. You ready? Yeah. Yeah. You're waiting for me. All right, pup, we're going to do 4. Let's do it. Trying a new mic today. We'll see how this works out. Gotta get this run done. It's gonna be a hot one today. Gotta find something to talk about here while we're on these runs. At least entertain myself. So, today's topic: kids, namely your own. Today happens to be a special day for my wife and I. It's our wedding anniversary. I actually don't count this date. Well, let me back up. Wedding anniversaries are important, don't get me wrong. It's a milestone in your life. It should be celebrated. But for me, the important day is the day we got together. And for my wife Danielle and I, it happened to be our prom night. We weren't necessarily high school sweethearts, because we actually didn't get together until the lingering months of our high school lives. And that was about 2 months left of high school. Our start's a little different, but I'll get on that later or some other day. Today we're talking about kids. Our kids. So we have 2 kids, Kaylee, Ray, and Brody Patrick. Both incredible kids in their own way. Danielle and I are actually empty nesters, and this all happened, for the most part, over the last 2 to 3 years. Our daughter was first to leave. She found a job in the Bay Area, working as a teacher. Worked really hard to get through school. Did an incredible job there, getting her credentials and bachelor's in actually about 3.5 years. We were lucky enough that there was an accelerated program at the local college. And she's a motivated gal. Our son motivated in different ways, and I don't want to judge him too harshly here because everybody's got to find their own way, and I know I found my own way, but he did 3 years of college, and kind of decided he was done, at least for the time being. Kind of wanted to get on with his life. And he joined the Air Force, which is something we kind of pushed him into. So we had some sort of plan forward rather than just quitting school and trying to figure out what he's going to do with himself. One of the reasons I can't really judge him is because I sort of did the same thing, although a little differently, and I would say a little more deliberately. And again, I'll get into that probably in some other run. Maybe we'll save that one for tomorrow. Anyway, my kids, and kids in general, it's kind of funny how you start your life almost oblivious to the things that are going to happen to you as you have kids. I mean, you have some cursory understanding of the things that are going to happen to you. You really just don't know, right? And I guess you could do your best to try to plan for parenthood. That's 1 mile, 7:36. But can you really ever plan for that? Maybe if you've got financial wealth and not a care in the world, it would probably certainly help. Not the case for me. The other thing you don't really expect, and this is the thing that's kind of hit us hard over the last few years, and this year even more so, is the heartbreaking connection you make with your kids. Well, good connection doesn't really break, but at times you're tested, and certainly when they leave, heartbreaking, and you got to learn to cope. And that's a tough one. So my daughter, firstborn, never really knew what it was going to be like to have a girl. Never even fathomed the idea that I was going to have a girl first. Of course, my wife did. We were both pleasantly surprised. That we had a girl, and I became more aware of the female human species as I became a father. Actually quite enjoyed Kaylee as a baby, and through her years, first couple years, obviously it's just baby stuff. Little sleep, a lot of feeding, late nights, while you figure things out. We were lucky enough to have an incredible support structure. My daughter, in particular, was 2 months premature when she was plucked from Danielle. So that came with its own challenges. She was in the NICU for, I can't remember the extent, but it was a bit. Holly is slowing down a little here. It's warm early today. So Kaylee was born early. She was in the NICU, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 weeks. She was tiny, 3 pounds, 10 ounces. My wife had preeclampsia. She was being monitored. We go in for a routine checkup, which were relatively frequent for us because the doctor had caught that she had preeclampsia. So we were going in frequently. We show up for one of the appointments and they tell her, hey, your blood pressure is really bad. We're gonna get you admitted. So she's admitted, going to the hospital. She's doing fine, sort of under a bed, in her bed. And then she kind of takes a turn for the worst and gets bad really quick. And they decide cesarean to take my daughter. And that's why she is 2 months early, because she was in danger as well as Danielle. So it started out rough. But I have this belief that things happen for a reason. And I think it set Kaylee up for life. She's always been strong and could overcome and would overcome any obstacle. And she was always very dependable. I used to take her to soccer practice, take her to school in the mornings. We enjoyed that. She gave up soccer ultimately, but still enjoyed my time doing that with her. She did well in school, progressed as you should, got through high school. Now she actually met her husband in high school. And I think sometimes she tried to almost replicate what her mom and dad did. And she's been married coming up to a year, doing really well. Had her priorities set before she got married. Got her degree. She was already working full time. And she was with a strong and capable man. Shout out to you, Jacob. You make my life easier as a father because of who you are. So in June, she finished up her 2-year probationary period for her credentials. When that was done, she was now fully licensed in the state of California as a full-blown teacher, and has since dropped out of the workforce. Because she's had a baby. Adelita, her first and only granddaughter. We just got back from seeing her a couple weeks ago. And she is a cutie. Her mother had the same condition as her mother, meaning Kaylee had the high blood pressure, warning signs of preeclampsia. But Kaylee, being the prepared individual she is, was way better at curbing and monitoring your blood pressure. She went on a diet very early and was able to manage to the point to where she was sort of able to give natural birth. Spent a long time trying to give birth. Ultimately, the baby was, and I'm gonna say this wrong, but anyways, the baby was head down but flipped. And I'm sure most females will understand the problem with that. So after ten or so hours of trying, it pulled Adelita cesarean. Anyway, the entire time my wife is worried sick. During her pregnancy, she goes to as many doctor's appointments as she can. I even joined in. But this entire time, I'm thinking to myself, Kaylee, she's the reliable one. We don't have to worry about her, regardless of what is in front of her. And sure enough, she pulled through. And is now from what I can tell, a pretty darn good mother. Addie had her 1-month birthday a few days ago, and after visiting them and the family, Kaylee is up for the challenge and doing way better than us when we raised her. I think being a teacher is also going to help her. She probably already has lesson plans for her daughter. And I know she's already, I'm going to take a detour here. I know she's already teaching her certain things, playing little games as much as you can with a 1-year-old infant. So I got no worries about Kaylee, her family, her job, her daughter, our granddaughter, or her husband. They are going to be fine. My son, I worry about, but not in a bad way. I worry because, one, I had more of a connection with Brody because of his soccer, baseball, running as a kid. And he is a mirror image of me emotionally, and maybe even at the time physically. And my son tends to lose focus every once in a while, wants to go off on a tangent. I know he has at least a little bit of separation anxiety, but he's really smart. He takes after me as far as his technical abilities and technology. He was a computer science major before he quit school. However, I fully expect him to go back and finish up. I already dove into this a little bit, but he played soccer in his youth, was never gifted naturally at soccer, always had to work at it, and did well enough to play competitive. But you could kind of see that he wasn't developing as fast as peers, and it kind of showed. Anyway, his junior high starts running. That's where he starts to shine. Gets through high school. We have some trials during high school with his schooling. Kind of had to push him along a little bit towards the end there. And then also in college. Luckily, I was also in the IT world and could help him, or at least help explain things or help with his studies a little bit. Anyways, He is now living in Florida and doing his thing. And I'm thankful that he's there around good people. I just hope they don't corrupt him. Brody, do the right thing. Smart kid, 22, doesn't drink. I'm on occasion, but not into that scene. Works out pretty religiously. And he's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm concerned for him because I feel like I know the shoes he's walking in, and it wasn't always easy for me. And I try to keep him from making the same mistakes as me. I actually never wanted him to go in the military. Told both my kids, if you stay in the local college, I will pay your tuition. Paid both of their tuitions. And Brody just didn't quite see it through, although I know he will. Haley's actually thinking about getting her master's. That one, you're on your own, girl. A lot more expensive. Anyways, my son's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm sure he'll be just fine. So we've seen both of our kids leave us this year. Kaylee was already halfway gone. She was living in the Bay Area, which is about 2 hours away from us. But she ultimately left somewhat for good. Well, not for good, but at least temporarily, while her husband works in Kansas, which is a trip because it's full circle. I was stationed when I was in the Army at Fort Riley, Kansas, and she is an hour away from that town and has given birth to Adelita in Kansas. It's just crazy. Brody is in Florida. I drove him across country to get him there. And yes, I had to do my run on the road. Again, one of those reasons I hate this streaking thing. Good thing is my son understands because he was a runner. So one of the things that I don't think you're fully prepared for, I don't quite appreciate, is the loss of your kids leaving. I have separation anxiety on some level as well, and I struggle when things change. I struggled when my dogs died. I struggled when my kids left. Struggle when we have issues in the family and something changes. And that will lead up to another discussion we'll have on another run. Anyway, you know when your parents told you when you were young not to grow up too fast? This is what they're talking about. It sucks. You also have to learn how to be a partner again to your spouse, if that's the situation you're in, and learn to cope together and do things together, almost like dating again. You struggle to find things to do because everything you did for the last 2 decades revolved around your kids. Luckily, I still have my wife, who is my true best friend. And I hope if you're dealing with the same circumstance, you have a similar relationship with your spouse. Now, we talk to our kids daily. That helps. Sometimes I'd like to just talk to them and chat, but I often find myself being a parent, even when I'm on the phone. And I hate that I do that, but I kind of can't stop myself. I was pretty hard on Brody with athletics, school, and now on his own life, trying to make him better than what he is now. Kaylee, like I said, never had to worry about her. Anyway, I also forgot to mention that Brody was also a scheduled C-section just because of the complications with Kaylee. And we actually lost a baby between Kaylee and Brody. So the doctor was super vigilant and making sure Brody was delivered. I only appreciate you, Doc. .423 on distance, under 32 and a half minutes. I know that's going to be under 7:30 pace. I must have been feeling good today. There you go, 7:26 pace. Holly's done. I am done. If you got kids, cherish them, love them. Find a realistic things for them. Push them sparingly. Don't push them over the edge. And hopefully they turn out all right. That's going to do it for me today. Hopefully I'll get another run tomorrow and get a chance to record it. Anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you, folks.